Washington. Great to have you, sir. Hi.
Good morning, Rush. Thank you very much for taking my call. You started off the show this morning talking about Governor Inslee and shutting down Thanksgiving. I also wanted to add to that the governor's office is asking everyone to report restriction violators. So,
oh yeah, I'm not surprised at that at all out there, Jeff.
It's just crazy. It feels like, honestly, from history of what Germany what must have been like.
Oh, by the way, speaking of that, did you hear Christiane Amanpour apologized to Trump for comparing his presidency to Kristallnacht? In other words, she went out there and she compared Trump's presidency to the rounding up of Jews and sending them off to the chambers. And somebody obviously got you, so you can say what you want about Trump, but that's a little bit, so she, and again, this story is going to be buried somewhere in the stack. I got little things like that, folks, that I've tried to put judiciously in the right place in the stacks where I think they would come up in the normal ebb and flow, but that's exactly, yep, here it is. Lucked out finding this one. This is Jerusalem Post. CNN's Christiane Amanpour apologizes for comparing Trump era, meaning his presidency, to Kristallnacht. I should not have juxtaposed the two thoughts. Hitler and his evils stand alone, of course, in history. I regret any pain my statement may have caused. She issued this apology during her show yesterday following outrage from Israel after she compared Trump's presidency to the Nazi Kristallnacht pogrom. Now, she, of course, is very sensitive as a foreign policy journalist and expert and so forth, and Israel loves Trump. Israeli leadership loves Trump. She's out there comparing his presidency to Kristallnacht. I observed the 82nd anniversary of Kristallnacht, and as I often do, it is the event that began the horrors of the Holocaust. I noted that President Trump's attacks on history, facts, knowledge, and truth. I should not have juxtaposed those two thoughts, however. Hitler and his evils stand alone, of course, in histoire, and I regret any pain my statement. What would even give you the thought, Christiane Amanpour? See, people who run around say these things and issue these apologies. I go ahead, but I don't accept the apology. Frankly, I don't. You said it. You meant it. You think it. It's just that somebody called you on it that you care about. But you think it. That's what's wrong with you people. You think all of this stuff that you say about Trump, about us, about more than half the country. This is what you think. You have these deep-seated resentments and disagreements. This is not the first person to have been compared to the Nazis. George W. Bush was routinely compared to Hitler under no basis of fact whatsoever. The difference is George Bush never said a word about it. He just let it stand. Karl Rove never said a word about it. Trump pushes back on this stuff, as do we. Who's next? Tom in Winona, Missouri. Tom, it's great that you're here. Welcome to the EIB Network. Hello.
Thanks, sir. Good afternoon. I wanted to say that I think that states with Republican-controlled legislatures should inform the President of the Senate that they're withholding their certification of election results pending further development of the situation because they have no intention of participating in a proceeding that's going to ratify a fraud. And that if this election is going to be a third world farce, then it ought to be a complete one with 100% vote for the winner.
You know, I love that idea. If we're going to bastardize this election, if we're going to turn this country into a third world tin-horn dictatorship, let's go all the way, and let's make sure Biden gets 100% of the votes.
Yes, sir. And
I love that idea. I'm host. I got limited time. I want to ask you a question, okay?
Yes, sir.
You believe Sidney Powell. You believe Lynn Wood. Do you believe these people telling us what they've found and what they've got evidence-wise? Do you believe it?
Yes. Yes, sir.
No doubts.
No, sir.
Why do you believe? I'm just trying to gather the way people think. There's no right or wrong answer here. I'm just curious how you think. Do you know Sidney Powell? Do you know her personally? Can you vouch for her?
No, sir. No, sir. I don't.
But yet you still believe what she is claiming. There's got to be a reason for it.
The statistical anomalies that have been brought up, like the fact that some that you brought up, I think, but he didn't do as well, Biden didn't do as well as Hillary or Barack Hussein in New York City,
right,
Chicago, and yet he did way better than they did in the states where the results are under dispute. Also, the unprecedented practice stopping counting only in 6 states, all of them controlled by Democrats, all that Trump had to win.
Yeah, why would you stop counting?
Exactly. Well,
that is what my wife Catherine and I have been asking ourselves. That's what we always go back to. And there's other things too. Why would you stop counting? We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll stay at it.
Somebody has to have